Hi, my name is Josiah Paul, and I'm with the Brick City Peace Collective. Welcome to the Lead Academy Show. And on this episode, I will be your host. The Lead Academy Show is a show led by Newark's youth. And today, we got two very special guests for you. I'd like for them to introduce themselves, but here's Amir Chase and Riley McMillan.
Hi, my name's Amir Chase. I'm a junior at University High School. I'm a scholar athlete, starting point guard of the boys basketball team, and I'm currently the top student of my class.
Hi, I'm Riley McMillan. I'm a 10th grader at University High School. I'm a member of the girls volleyball team. I'm an honors student with a 4.4 GPA.
Okay, all right. I like how she threw that in. So on this episode and every episode, we'll have Mayor Raz J. Baraka as part of the co-host as well. Mayor, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Mayor Baraka. Happy to be co-hosting this show, engaging our young people today with Josiah. And I'm glad we got some University High School students here. You know, I'm a graduate of University High School.
Okay, all right. So University Central. So let's welcome our first guest, Amir. Riley, would you like to introduce yourselves, give us a little bit more background about some of the things you've done in high school, some extracurricular activities about you?
Well, I'm part of the after-school program, which I was on the debate team, and yeah, that's pretty much all I did for high school.
For me, I'm on the Honor Society, the National Honor Society. Yeah.
Okay, I'm familiar. So for today's topic, we're going to be exploring building strong relationships and some of the challenges you may have faced during this pandemic. We'll also touch on, because it's Black History Month, we'll touch on some of those topics as well. We're going to jump right off into our conversation. My first question is for you two. What is the best strategy the two of you have found for students looking to build strong relationships with teachers?
The best strategy I've found for building strong relationships with teachers will have to be communication, because communication is key. Even if it's just going to class a little bit earlier to ask for extra help or a problem outside of school, because a lot of kids feel embarrassed or nervous to ask for extra help, but that's not the case because teachers are there to help us, to mentor us. So I said communication would be the best strategy to build stronger relationships with teachers.
The strategy I recommend is just showing effort, like just showing that you want to be there and showing that you're showing hard work towards the teacher. That gives a good expectation for you and others.
Now, how does this work though? Like, we're in a pandemic. And I'm saying that because I'm a graduate student, and for me, I can just turn my camera off, so I really don't have to intervene with my classmates or even my teacher. How do you still build these relationships with a teacher or even your own peers? It's virtual.
Showing effort, it's still it's hard because at our school, you turn your camera off, you either marked as absent or you just not participating, and it's really hard. And you get distracted fast because you're home, and there's a lot of things that could bring instantly get your attention, like you got your game or your phone or anything going around in your house, and it's really hard. I'm still going through the process of trying to stay focused, but.
So that social aspect, 10th grade, 11th grade, in comparison to when you was a freshman, sophomore, and a freshman, you got to see your friends every day. And now that you don't see them every day, via in person, is your bond stronger or is it weaker?
I would say my bond is stronger with my friends now because we can go to each other for help with certain projects and certain work that we have to do. And we can just check on each other sometimes and say, hey, you okay? You need help with some work or something. So I say that my relationships have gotten really stronger instead of weaker.
Mayor, what do you got to add to that?
I'm not in virtual school, but everything I do is virtual, at this point. Almost everything, all kinds of meetings, events. So I understand what's being said here. And there's been a lot of things on national TV, people getting caught with the camera on and it shouldn't be on, the mic on and it shouldn't be on, saying things they haven't been saying, doing things they haven't been doing. So people getting used to this virtual world, and I know how it probably can be very, very difficult for students you know, because there's, like you said, there's a lot of distraction going on in the house. So it's very difficult. You have to really be intentional about trying to keep those relationships if you want them. You have to really be and be engaged in class. You got to have a good teacher.
I would say like this pandemic is like an obstacle for your friendships and your relationships with others, because you depend, like, you being in school, you actually see who really your friend or not. Like, and now since we're home and you don't really talk to them like that, you're distant, you actually could tell that they were just school friends and not really actually your friend.
That's
Wow.
good. That's a great point, though.
Yeah, for real. You know, we're in a pandemic, and the reality of the barriers that we all faced is real. It's really real. And I think mental health has been such a big aspect of everybody's life. Like, how are you taking care of yourself during this time? Like, how do you take care of yourself? You know, I guess now it kind of acts as the generation topic now. We're kind of used to technology compared to you guys who had to kind of grow into tech, like experience had to make you get into this technology. Like, I remember I had to help my father, like, just work a Zoom, and I'm like, Dad, this is you gotta keep the camera on, man. They can see you.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you feel now having to just get forced into this technology?
Me? Yeah, well, it is, first of all, these companies are making a whole lot of money off of this stuff, that's for sure. But I think this is it now, you know? I don't think people say when this goes away. I believe that what's happening now is the new normal. That people are going to be doing this. I mean, the flip of that is you can have these Zooms with people all over the world, and you don't have to go anywhere, right? And so normally we'd have to travel for conferences, have to drive to D.C., have to go to, you know, different parts of the country, go out of the country. Now everybody is talking to each other from where they are, and I believe that that's going to continue. It's going to be a hybrid of both kind of things going on, because people want contact with the human beings, but the virtual piece of it is also going to make it so that more people can participate without being directly there. So I think we have to get used to it. Everybody has to get used to it. All of the platforms that exist. I mean, there's so many platforms now outside of just Zoom that people are using to allow you to have these huge conferences. And some of this stuff already existed, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just now getting used more. So I don't have any choice.
Amir, you said you played what sport again?
Basketball.
How is it playing basketball during this time when you have to be in person?
You don't really, like, it's actually harder, because it's kind of taking the fun out of it, because you can't do certain things in the game that you usually do. And then on the bench, it's like you can't be close together to each other because of Corona. So it's actually
You
it's
on the
hard.
bench?
It's very hard. Yes, the bench is like
No,
spread
I
out.
thought you said you was a starter.
No, I'm saying like on time, on like
You gotta get some
timeouts.
rest, man.
Okay, all right. I just have to get that clear for the record, okay? You
Yeah.
start, all right? So I will you got students right here. You got students that's going to be watching this. What's some advice you can give to them?
I would say you should take a lot of time for yourself right now, just for mental well-being. You're just going and going and going. A lot of adults are just going and going and going and not stopping. And I would say, you have to take a breath. There's a lot going on right now. A lot of things that are happening for you and your family. All of the connection is not there. And so you take time. I would say, do some self-improvement stuff. Focus on things that you need to get better with yourself. A lot of meditation, prayer, whatever it is that you do. It's individual time. You don't need to be with everybody all of the time. You might take an hour a day, an hour or two every 2 days, and just be by yourself and just, think about everything that's going on. And I think that's helpful for your mental and social health. I think it's helpful. And I would check on my friends and talk to the people, like what you said is like real. There are friends who you get to see who is really with you and who's not, and who's want to help you go forward, and who is just hanging out with you in the cafeteria, right? And that's for adults too. Like, during this time, you get to see who's really going to be supportive of you in these difficult times, and who's just going to run and hide. So this is very important to just pay attention to what's going on around you.
Self-development is key. I think really you said everything. I was going to ask you guys the same question, but sometimes when it's said right in front of you, you just got to bear witness. It's important for us. I think really the pandemic is happening to everyone. Let's always remember that we're all affected by it, regardless of, you're in leadership. You're in the highest leadership in the city of Newark, and he's affected by this. There's nobody who can avoid what the grip of this pandemic does. And if we're not willing to take in self-development, then really how far can we go? You got to look at that man, that woman in the mirror. To go back into school, name one teacher that had a lasting impact. We always have that breakout star teacher that said the right thing to you. Now, before I ask you that question, I got to talk about our relationship. He definitely was my principal at Central High School. I could tell you a story or two. And the one thing, I transferred into Central, and I saw two different leaderships. And it's so important. Like, we never talk about the leadership in the school system. And to be honest, I've seen different leadership in phases with our mayor, mayor, principal. He was not more so a teacher, but a principal is the teacher for everybody, really. And when you look at that from my eyes, I just understood the need and some of the things that, other students go through. And strong leadership matters. That impact person who's the first one on the microphone, talking to the students, telling them what they did wrong, telling them they should have never did it, is important. Who's that breakout person for you two?
Well, all my teachers, all my mentors, all had a lasting impact on my life. But one teacher that I could say has really, truly changed me would have to be my math as a teaching teacher, Mr. Snowden, because I feel as though I could go to him with any problem that I have, personal or school related, and I just appreciate him being in my life.
So wait, Mr. Snowden, did he go to Central?
Yes, he did.
So he went. I do. I remember. I didn't have him as a teacher, but the students definitely complimented him a lot. He also wasn't. Doesn't he have a relationship? He was your prince. He was a teacher under your guidance.
He was.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Duh.
For me, I would say all my English teachers throughout my time in school, because like in other classes, they just, in my opinion, they just throw work at you, and they don't really, it's not really like a connection with it. So but in English, you get to share a lot of your point of view on things, and and you get to see other people's perspectives on it, and that's actually it's more interesting in those subjects. Yeah.
I have a question. How do you get kids more engaged in school? Because a lot of people are disengaged. Like and the pandemic has made them even more disengaged. Like they're just like, oh, whatever. How do you think? What makes you engaged that you think other kids need to? That we help us get other kids engaged.
For me, I just feel I just want a better life for me, myself, and for my family. So me staying focused in school, doing my work, doing the best I can in school, I feel as though that could get me far in life and get the help any and everybody that I can.
That's real.
What I would say is more discussions, because a lot of kids are not good with work, has being thrown at us all the time. Some of us like just to talk about it, have discussions about news and new problems that are occurring, because we know what's going on, and sometimes that when you don't say nothing, it makes us seem like you don't think we understand what's going on.
Right.
So we like to have discussions in class just to have our opinions expressed too. So that's how I say you can have more kids engaged.
They need a big Tuesday.
Definitely need that. So let me further push that. The content. How do you feel about the content you learn in your school? Like, do you feel like the curriculum is geared for you? Do you see yourself in that curriculum?
It's some subjects that I'm really not interested in. But it's like I feel as though it should be more subjects based on about life, really. Like, it's some people that don't know how to cook, don't know how to do things for themselves, but I feel as though they just need to put that more in for people to have a better understanding of what they do when they're on their own.
Okay. That's good to know. Now, let's switch it. We got the students' understanding. Now, as a principal teacher, what was that relationship like when it came to, like, sometimes you force the laws, you enforce policy, you make sure things is ran at a smooth pace. How is that in comparison to what you heard? How is it different? Making sure students have to meet a certain quota, making sure students have to understand, because sometimes development comes through time, and
you don't
as
have
a
a lot
student,
of it.
exactly.
You don't have a lot of it. Well, I think the first thing is school culture. That's important. Like, if you can't change the culture of the school, then kids are not going to learn anyway. You might get a few because they have, this kind of intrinsic desire to succeed, no matter what's going on around them, right? But everybody don't have that. Yeah. Everybody don't have the internal fire that tells them, I have to get this done. In fact, a lot of kids don't. The majority of the kids don't, right? Everybody is not super smart or just way behind. Most people are in the middle, right? They're somewhere in the middle of that. And you're trying to pull more of those kids over to the side, that side. And so culture is important. If the school is wild, if it's crazy, if it's disorganized, it's going to be difficult. If there's no good adult-student relationships, it's going to be difficult as well. And so you got to set the tone, and that's what I try to do. Set the tone in the morning, set the tone when people leave, create other opportunities for kids so they can do the things you're talking about, talk about different things, be a part of social clubs, all of that stuff, because that's what people want to do. People want to be a part of social things, they want to get together. You just have to control that so it's positive and not negative, because kids are going to be a part of their own social groups. They call them gangs, right? So if you don't create social groups or other opportunities for kids, they're going to join the stuff that's available. You know what I'm saying? So you have to create other opportunities so you give them options to say, I want to be a part of this and not that. This is dangerous, this isn't.
And just to give more back content, Central High School, at Central High School, they created what you would call like a high school fraternity. Mau Mau, EGO West, and these high school fraternities were an option for students to be a part of as well. I was a part of, I consider the best one, So, I ain't gonna do no more shouting, but it is what it is. Let's switch gears real quick. Now we know it's Black History Month. Let's just warm up into this. We're in the city of Newark, and we have definitely got a lot of Black-owned restaurants. What's one of your favorite Black-owned restaurants in the city?
It's a little place on South Orange Ave called Roy's Fish Fry.
Roy's Fish Fry, okay.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
It's a place called Burt's by a gas station. It's also on South Orange Avenue.
You know it's good when it's by a gas station.
Is that right? As long as it don't taste like gas.
I hope it don't either, but I don't know. They just got that. It's the something special. Always getting cooked over there.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's your favorite restaurant?
You got to try Nubian Flavor on Springfield Avenue. You got to try Blueprint Cafe. That's down on Raymond Boulevard, all the way down. Blueprint Cafe. It's a nice ambiance and the food is good. And if you're into vegan stuff, Blueberry Cafe on Central Avenue, all the way at the top, Central Avenue and 10th and 11th.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one I go to Vonda's Kitchen. I gotta give it to them.
Too.
I gotta give it to them.
Too. I gotta go once in a while because if you eat it, I start gaining too much weight, bro.
Definitely right about that. So now that we broke into that question, I definitely want to switch gears. I know you guys are high school students, and you're definitely gonna be thinking about college. Are you two interested in attending HBCU? And that content, I know the mayor went to Howard University, his brother as well, and even bigger content, Camilla Harris, who is our vice president, also went to Howard University as well. What are your two thoughts about HBCUs?
I would recommend going to HBCU only because I want to get the experience to learn about my culture and to get more information and more things I didn't know before that I could learn there now.
I would love to go to HBCU because I find it so inspiring to see a higher representation of the community, as in Black people, and I find that I can make personal and professional relationships by networking. But if the opportunity presents itself, I will go to HBCU, but I'm more interested in traveling abroad to become a Rhodes Scholar.
Okay. Well, I knew she was going to say something like this. Okay, a Rhodes Scholar. I wasn't a Rhodes Scholar, but I did study abroad. Well, I got it.
You was on the road scholar.
I was on the road, Scott. I was on the road, and I was a scholar. So, in the play of words, I was that. I had the opportunity to study at Oxford Brookes University, and to be honest, the moment I got into that airport and I realized I couldn't call nobody, my mom was gonna make me breakfast in the morning. I had to do my own laundry. I had to get my own groceries in another country. It was the best experience. And like I took mine to the next level. I was going to other countries every weekend.
I got a question for you.
Oh,
Did
snap.
you like did you know where you wanted to go first? Like I heard you say you went to Egypt first, right?
I did. The moment I went there, well, let me first backtrack. I'm from Newark, just like you, man. And to be honest with you, I didn't even think I was going to ever do something like this. My liaison, she just told me to apply. And I said, all right, I'll apply. I didn't think, and next thing you know, a month later, I got accepted. So I bought my passport, my flight, and Egypt was such the out country for me. Egypt, it was like, you see it on textbooks all the time. We hear about, oh, Egypt, that's our history. And the moment it became a possibility for me, I just went. I had to go. And it was a beautiful experience, seeing the pyramids. Oh, man, you changed gears so much.
No, that's good, man. Anytime you got the opportunity to travel, you should. Absolutely need to get away from here. See the world, see other things while you're young. That's the best. When you get older and you start working, it becomes more difficult. A lot of people, you see them on Instagram, they're on vacation. They have the nice vacation places, but the world is so vast, man. You should try to travel even places that people, that are not vacation type places. Go to those places and see the world and experience things. Gives you a different perspective. Yeah, and so the earlier the better.
Mm-hmm. It definitely goes into what you talked about earlier about culture. One thing about our history is that it's very limited because we're only taught about our history in America. And, usually we start off with the story of slavery. So how can I be so entertained in my history if the first thing is about bondage, it's about change? Egypt, when I went there, my tour guide was like, yo, he just did this. And that was an indication of like, you're going to see black mummies. This is your history. And I was aware, I knew already, but it also said that when you get to see it, like you get to go inside and everything, it just shows you not only your ancestors did something spectacular, it's still considered today one of the great wonders of this world. But let's go back into these HBCUs real quick. Mayor, you went to HBCU. How was that experience like?
That was the best experience of my life, It's not just that they teach you black history and people think that, because every class is not like that. I think what happens is they inspire you to feel like you have to do something when you leave, and they try to make sure that so they invested in you. It's not like you saying people throwing work at you. They try to make sure that you're learning, inspire you to go to higher education. There's all kind of things that are going on. You meet black people from all over the world. I mean, that's the first thing that stands out to me. Like, there's probably nowhere in the country that I have traveled that I don't know people that I met at Howard University, and different places around the world too. So it's so inspiring to me. Most people that went to Howard love it so much, and they talk about it, all the time. They could be 30 years removed from the school and they still be like HU, So and that's because that bond that it creates there to make you feel like we all in this together. And it's crazy outside, and we have to go out there and change it. Whatever it is you're doing, whether you're an artist or a politician, a teacher, a scientist, you have to go out there and do something for your people.
So I guess you guys gonna be playing at HU, right? We're in Black History Month. Would you explain the importance for young people to know about their history? It's so important.
Sure.
When you see like some of us who just don't know anything at all.
Well, and that's because we don't learn anything at all. You said they teach us Black Americans, they don't even teach us that.
Yeah.
So we don't know American history, period. The history we learn is European history. We barely learn American history. We learn American presidents, but we don't learn American history, right? We learn the Constitution, the presidents, and the bills they passed. But we really don't know the history of what happened in this country, and that's the problem. And so if you have to know your roots, where you come from, who you are, where you belong, your relationship to the world, and it empowers you, it gives you strength to do almost anything you want to do. And people can't lie to you. You know, they can't tell you stuff that you know is not true. And once you have this kind of pride, you know, it helps you to learn more. In fact, you want to learn more. You get the feeling that this brother has, but even more so. You want to learn more, and you want to do more. And that's why it's important. It's a shield. You know, it protects you in a place where people are trying to hurt you.
That's good to know. Thank you. And hopefully that's inspiring for you too as well. You know, I don't know what type of conversations you have with your students and classmates, but the reality is that we have to know. Not knowing us allows us to make the mistakes and repeat history. And we can't be in these situations. That's called lost time. If time is motion, time is moving, it's progressive, and we have to be progressive in our lives. We can't lose time. That's something we just don't get back. It's impossible. I definitely want to first thank both of you two for attending. It's an honor and it's a pleasure that both of you was able to come. I just want to thank you two again. Amir, Riley, it's an honor. Mayor, as always, it's a pleasure to have you.
Nice to meet you guys. You know, I used to coach basketball at university too, right? I was a basketball coach over there.
So this is all the time we have for our very first episode. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Mayor. Everyone watching, stay tuned for our next episode premiering next month. Until then, feel free to reach us at BCPC in the Mayor's Youth Office. See you soon. See you again. All right.